So I was just walking past the casino this early morning, and there was a dude just drove up in his little van and parked outside it, and then jumped out, and he was then trying to get in the front door, couldn't get in the front door, and then he walked around the back fast and tried to open the doors around the back, and then was looking through the windows, and then went round the front again and tried the door again, and he just had that look of somebody that's desperate to gamble, really, and sad, really, and it shows how it kind of takes a hold of you, the gambling, and it's really an addiction that's really difficult to overcome sometimes for people, but I'll think about it and give a bit more later on. So I'm just stood outside one of the casinos in the town, and there's these little casinos dotted around this French Riviera / kind of south coast of France, and this one's just like literally next to our hotel, apartment over there, which is that tall block, and when I go past it, it gives me the heebie-jeebies a bit, as in makes me go oof, yeah. And you're in this lovely setting here, just like that, on the beach. People just setting up beach towels and all this, yeah. It's going to be like beautiful out there, chilling in the water, nice holiday style, And then we've got this casino sat here, and it's I would say it's a guaranteed way of feeling miserable is to go in here at any point and do any gambling, people disagree with that, but from my perspective, I've gambled before on things. I played poker, played blackjack sometimes, mainly poker and blackjack, I would say, yeah. And it's not not a pleasant experience in the longer term, In the longer term, it's pretty much guaranteed that you're going to lose money. And how do we make our holiday more expensive? Well, we decide to go into the casino, and we could quite easily just ruin ourselves in there, And so it's one of those things that falls into that category. There's not very many of these things in that category of like not a good thing to do in any small amount or large amount at all. So I would say something to avoid. And I used to be in the university poker society, and that used to be relatively enjoyable. Just £5 for us to sit down, 30 or 40 of us, and play a tournament. But it was limited in that way, where it was £5 and you might be there for 3 or 4 hours or more sometimes, and for that £5, buy in. And I won that tournament a few times, actually, quite a few times. But there's something different about that a little bit as well, in the sense that it's more like limited, If you go into somewhere like this, or online, playing games or betting or anything like that, it's generally this idea that I think it's something like 95% of gamblers lose money, if not more. And a lot of the time that's kind of linked to avoidance of emotional states, like might be feeling down, might be feeling bored, Might be dissatisfied with life. Might be a distraction, you know, because it gives a thrill, and it also kind of zones you out a bit sometimes, you know. And there's this kind of definite kind of activating different kind of addictive, obsessive kind of difficulties, you know. And so it's one of the most harmful, and it's got harmful things addiction wise, and also it's got one of the kind of big spikes in suicide because of that sense of loss and everything else, and yeah, increased suicide risk and everything. So seek help if you need it for gambling, and I encourage that wholeheartedly. There's lots of, you know, organisations that can help with gambling problems, but also you could go to therapy, because often it's like, what's the underlying difficulty that's leading to the gambling, you know. And for example, I've helped one person before with the gambling, you know, and well, various people, to be honest, but it's often things like, you know, income levels, dissatisfaction with that, and then trying to win more money, or all sorts of things. There's whole things that go into it, but I would definitely say seek help if you've got a problem with gambling. I have had a problem with gambling before, not massive amounts of money, but big amounts of money to me at the time of gambling. So you know, if you're a student and you've not got much money, if you go and spend 40-50 quid gambling, or 100 quid gambling, that has a massive effect on whether or not you can buy shopping that week, or whether or not you worked all week for nothing, you know. Because you might only be getting, like at that time I was getting £5 or £6 an hour or something, you know. So if you go and lose 50 quid or 100 quid, you know, you've got to go and work 20 hours to get that back, you know. Thankfully that's not an issue for me now, but I totally empathise with people that are stuck in that. And yeah, I'll see if I can find some links to put into the description, and it's this thing of trying to change things sometimes, isn't it, when stuck in loops of things. And it can be that people are quite secretive about it, for a long time, not tell anybody. And there's some great charities out there like Bet No More, or all sorts of kind of helpful charities that can do groups with people, or do little therapy programs, and even sometimes people have had to go to rehab for it, you know. But best of luck if you've got a gambling problem, and do seek out help. So now I'm back at the apartment, and the casino's down there where that little square building is, and that kind of white thing on the beach is near there, yeah. And it was just reminding me, it was giving me anxiety thinking about gambling, to be honest. And it's amazing how an addictive thing, and it scares me to death, you know, the thought of gambling in there, you know. And I think that's a good fear, you know, good anxiety, and you know, it's noticing where that came from as well. I mean, I guess back in the day, I'm just trying to think when I started gambling, and I think, well, I just remembered another thing, which was the original gambling was on 2p ledge machines in an amusement arcade when I was on holiday, either in Butlins or Pontins or something like that, with my dad on holiday, and I had 2p's and I was putting them in this thing, and that's where it originated, I think. And what happened was, I put in, I don't know, 50p's worth of 2p's or whatever, and I had this big win of like, I don't know, 5 quid or something of 2p coins, where the whole shelf dropped, and then the whole next shelf dropped, and the whole next shelf dropped. And that in some ways can be one of the worst things, you know, is to, I know it sounds weird, but to win that £5 at whatever age I was, must have been about 6 or 7 or 8 or something years old. It's not a good thing, you know, because then I was always on the 2p machines whenever I would go on holiday with my pocket money, and more often than not, anybody that played the 2p machines knows that you end up with no coins in your hand, you know. It was, well, I was observing gambling from my dad, I guess, on the stocks and shares, but I was working as a 16, 17 year old or something, cleaning dishes in a pub, and people were gambling on the slot machines, you know, and I was like, oh, that's good, they just won 20 quid or whatever, 30 quid. I was like, I'm going to have a go at that. So I wasn't old enough, because I was thinking meant to be 18 to use them, but I just went there, and as soon as I got my wages, I think I got 20, 30 quid or something. I was on £2 or £3 an hour. £2 or £3 an hour, and I would go there with my wages onto that gambling machine, and more often than not, for like 2 or 3 weeks in a row sometimes, I would put my money into there and I would not get anything back, you know, and then occasionally I would get 20, 30 quid back. So I was putting in 2, 3, 4 weeks wages sometimes and getting back 1 week's wages, you know, occasionally, and then losing it again sometimes. So it was horrendous in some ways, you know, because the efforts that had to go in to get that money was walking 4 miles, I think it was, to work, and walking 4 miles back for a 4-hour shift. So on a 4-hour shift I would get something like 10, 12 quid probably, if that, which is crazy, isn't it? And then within 10 minutes, you know, you could get rid of, you could lose all of that, you know, and horrendous feeling, and it just scares me, the thought of it all. And so you know, I'd and it's one of these addictions where you can quite easily kind of fall into that trap very quickly again, very quickly. So yeah, best to be avoided. And I was going to say, yeah, they design it, it's like similar to these algorithms these days, they design it in such a way that it, you know, the gambling companies, these slot machines, to make people addicted to them. And you know, I've helped people with their addictions to slot machines and other things as well, thankfully successfully. Some of those helpful things can be realising what you could spend the money on instead, thinking about what you're avoiding doing instead, you know, enjoying your life a little bit more, as in maybe going on a holiday, or getting a pair of trainers that you want to get for yourself, or having a goal that's sufficiently solid for you to work towards and want to do something, you know, save up towards it, you know. But anyway, so yeah, I thought I'd just share that. And also, so yeah, so there's this aspect where, you know, we don't sometimes realise that something like this amusement arcade, circus / games of luck, we might let our kids play, or we might have a go at something that seems benign, but they can have an impact, you know. And I just feel fortunate that personally, look, it even says Gambler Special here, I don't know if you can see that, but look. So I just, yeah, I kind of feel fortunate that I've been able to short circuit myself without help, you know, in the past myself. Look, it even says Gambler Special on this sign here. Got some cards there at the top, look. So the Gambler Special #1. It's got slot machines there, and it's playtime now. This is in a kids arcade, you know, kids and family kind of fun place, you know. So there's this aspect where things can seem benign, but they can suddenly jump on us, you know, and or build over time. And thankfully, you know, I've been able to short circuit that in the past when I've noticed it's getting out of hand, you know, and it's been sufficiently horrible feelings for me to not want to do it again. But no, they've even got dice here on the top there, you know. So, and sometimes nowadays it might be something like this, or it might even be like, you know, little games that kids play where they can buy a box and they press it on a computer game, for example, and they don't know what they're going to get, you know, and then suddenly they just want to buy more and more boxes, you know. So yeah, so it is noticing these things a wee bit and just trying to short circuit them as soon as possible so that they don't kind of get out of hand too much, you know. And do seek out help, and you know, I'll put some links in the chat below. Alright, take care for now. And I'll probably do some more videos about that once I get back off holiday, because it is such a thing that has such a massive negative impact for people. Alright, have a good one.